Hello everybody, this is Toys R Us, and for this special figure showcase and review, we can look at the Generations Fall of Cybertron. This is the deluxe class Optimus Prime figure. So what we're going to do with this video, we're going to have a detailed look at him in both of his modes, help you decide how you want to display him. We're going to see how he looks and compares to some other figures that have used the same mould. We can also see how he fares to the War for Cybertron versions of him as well. And of course, we'll see how he looks and displays up against some of the figures that have been released today, both original and third party. So as you can see, quite a bit to get through with this video today. So as I start to put these away, I'd like to remind anybody who's not subscribed to the channel, if they'd like to hit that subscribe button for me now, please. Right, we're also going to look at the packaging, but I'm going to start off, as you can see, even though he comes boxed as a robot, we're going to start off in the alternate mode. Now, one thing that you will notice with these is that they are quite small, and indeed they are quite basic. Now, although I was collecting these, I wasn't really involved in the forums and in, I suppose, the social aspect of the collecting game back in 2011, so I didn't realise that these guys got as much flack as they did, and I actually really like the figure. As I say, it is super basic. It probably is one of the smaller Optimus Prime figures that was released mainline, I suppose, apart from the ones, you know, like your core class that were supposed to be small. This is a mainline deluxe figure, and it is, again, relatively small, but I really liked it. Again, if we compare it to, I suppose, some of today's deluxe figures, look, it's absolutely tiny. It's not much bigger. In fact, it's not even bigger than the JP Jeep, and that is really small with regards to some Generation 1 figures. Again, it's not as big as, so it's quite surprisingly small. But what I do like is, obviously, it serves its purpose. You can see that all the wheels go around, no issue whatsoever. I like the fact they've got the silver, which is quite reflective on the pigs there. Obviously, you can tell that's his fists, but otherwise, I think everything's tucked away quite neatly. Now, you've got a choice. Some people I know do move the smokestacks to point them down. I don't think it looks better with it pointing down. I do think, well, there's your choice. You've got either pointing up like that, which you've got a bit of a gap there, or you've got pointing down where there's no gap, but it doesn't give it, I suppose, that aerodynamic side. It does come with this very boring blast accessory, but that is literally, as you can see, all there is. It doesn't even look like a homage to his original one. But I suppose the cool thing is you can hold it either that way round or that way round. But more to the point, when he's in the alternate mode, you do need this part, and you can attach it there. You can also as well pop this on one of the multiple 5mm ports that is on this figure. I'm also wondering if that is, oh, there you go, you can even attach it to the smokestacks, which have got 5mm ports as well. The Autobot logos look quite nice, to be honest. The silver there's some nice painted windows, but as far as I say, that goes, it is rather basic, isn't it? If we spin it round to the back, the packaging, I suppose, just confirms what we've just looked at. There's the Cybertronian truck mode. If anybody wants to read that, I'm going to say pause, and you can read it now. And then we've got the tech spec on the back, which is what I love about these figures. I think were they one of the first to do it since the originals? I'm not too sure. We've got some lovely, I'm going to say, artwork and borderline, I suppose, what he looked like in the game, but that is how he looks packaged, and as you can see, it is rated only as a level 2. That's all there is to say about this mode. Let's have a look at him in his alternate mode, in his robot mode rather. Okay, so here he is in his robot mode. Apologies, no transformation process on this video. I'm sure you've noticed it has been separately uploaded already, aiming to keep the main length of this video down. The robot mode itself, we're going to have a bit of a detailed look at in a second. But what I want to show you is, this was, of course, the first issue or use of the mold for this figure, and then I suppose, as pretty much we always do tend to get, we then tend to get an Ultra Magnus. But what I like about the Ultra Magnus is they gave him this giant sword as well. So I suppose they changed it enough to make the detail and the deco on him just look, I suppose, that little bit better. As I said in the beginning part of the video, this is one of the most basic Optimus Prime figures I think I've ever seen. The Ultra Magnus colour scheme, I think, looks better, and all the additional paint apps on him do make him look, as I say, that little bit better. But there you are from the back. There is, obviously, as you can see, a bit of a gap in the back of the legs, but that's pretty much what quite a lot of the deluxe figures did have around about this time. Articulation wise, the head is on like a mushroom peg, so it can look up and down. This needs to come up as well, but it does come down and it can swivel all the way around. You've got ball and socket shoulders, so they'll go all the way around. You've got swivel underneath there. You've got bicep flexion. You do have a wrist swivel, which is great. There is a waist swivel. It's not really an ab crunch, but you can see where he's bending in from the hips. They're also on ball and sockets. There is a big, huge knee bend, and you can also tell that the toes as well have got, I suppose, an ankle tilt and an ankle rock at the same time. So there he is, standing in his robot mode. Let's give you an idea, I suppose, of size. As I said, I've said this loads, I'm going to stop saying it now. But there is core class Optimus. There is a G1 Optimus. So we're going to do some official figures first, just to give you an idea of size. In fact, funnily enough, I've got a Generation 1 Bumblebee figure there as well, which is up to his hips. I may need to just quickly adjust this a fraction lower. Yeah, now he's in this mode. So not the biggest, as I've already said, not the biggest at all. Again, what I do like though is the fact that you've got these 5mm ports on the side of the forearms, and in fact I've done the same on this. I've given you a choice, because you can, in the I suppose the artwork and in the instructions, it has them, these smokestacks, folded down. But again, you've got a choice. You can have them down facing that way, or you could have them lifting up. It doesn't really matter. I'm not too sure the up looks good, even though you would more associate Optimus Prime with his smokestacks up. But I suppose if you buy this now, you can have a good play around with this, because all of the 5mm ports that you had for the Siege figures, etc., you could attach a fossilizer, weaponizer, etc. to all of these, and it would just work. It'd work really well, because that's what all the ports are there for. So you've got forearms, sides of the legs, you've got the back, of course you've got both fists. To give you an idea of some third-party figure size, there is New Age, so he's not as small as what's classed as the new Legend class size figures. So New Age, Magic Square and Iron Factory. But I suppose with regards to the figure that came, well, the figures that came out pretty much of him, I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong guys, that this one was only the year before, 2010 for the Generations, the War for Cybertron one. This is the Toys R Us special edition. That's why he's got the yellow bits there. So, you know, look at the difference in what you're getting your money for out of these two toys. The Generations one, again, year before, much bigger, far superior. But then just for a bit of fun, even though there's no point doing a proper comparison, because we're talking 10 years on and a different price bracket. But there is, of course, your new War for Cybertron version of that particular figure. It's good to see, I suppose, how they do what is it, transition between them all, I suppose. Not transition, how they change, and I suppose how they do improve on the figures. But in honesty, there's not much more to say about this. It was a very small toy line. I've just got a few, in fact I'll bring a few more here, because my display for Fall of Cybertron is literally right next to me. So there was their take on Air Raid. Again, quite basic, just basically used the Shockwave mold. So I think this one was just as guilty of Combiner Wars for using the same mold over and over again. This is a Voyager class blaster, huge compared to him. But that's it. As I say, I'm not going to waffle on any more about this figure. I do really like it. I'm so pleased I've managed to get a loose one now. And there you go. Let me know what you think of him in the comments. Is it something that you might be thinking or tempted of picking up on, or is it just too far past that now? And yeah, there's there's loads of better versions of this, I suppose, character out apart from this. Let me know in the comments, guys. Anyway, take care.